And we are live talking about movies once again. How are you, Sam?
I'm good, man. And you?
I'm doing great. Now, this is the warning to everyone that's just jumping in the stream. We will spoil everything from that movie. And just before we get into an in depth review, I have some kind of opening statement about the overall movie. So here it goes. I think speaking and using democracy and its different components should always be the go to. Political violence shouldn't be glorified or promoted, except in extreme cases like what we had in France when they decided to take out kings and queens to give the power back to the people. I don't think the right, in the USA at least, reached that boiling point to justify all the political violence pushed by the left. I also don't think the movie showed enough abuse of power to justify the extreme action of the protagonist. Both sides seem
hmm
to be wrong in the movie, but again, I think they push the idea of political violence being okay. So anything to add to my opening statement?
Um. Whoa. and well, like I told you last time, it's a bit long to explain, but I think the
Go for it.
political I think the political aspect of the film could have been better executed. I didn't think it was that subtle. I wish it was. I wish it was subtle in a way where like you could reach both points and understand both points without having to choose a side. Um, But yeah, I think that was the part that kind of bothered me a bit. But I think we'll get to that later. Um, so and
Perfect.
I think like the the Republican anti mixing race thing, mixing race propaganda was kind of pushed into the short. I thought it was a bit exaggerated because I know I get it. Like Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to show present them as Aryan race, Nazi stuff. I get it, but I wish it was a bit more subtle. But it was still interesting that the fact that at the end of the day, Bob the wasn't the father at the end. It was Stephen Lockjaw, and I was like, oh fuck, what? So it turned down
I
the
I
narrative.
had
But
seen it coming, to be honest. I was like, it won't be for dad. It's obvious. That's why
oh,
they
you
showed
knew?
like, yeah. I was like, they showed the girl being with the guy, and that would be pure irony if the guy had a bastard like that. So I kind of had seen it coming from the start. I was like, oh, that's what they will do as the final twist.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was that aspect was well written. I will give them props where credit are due. So I guess now we will dive deep into the entire movie. What did you think of the movie?
Um, fairly the filmmaking aspect was great, but we're talking about Paul Thomas Anderson here. I think as always he's great. On the cinematography side, production design, his actors are always on top. Sean Penn hasn't delivered such an amazing performance since 2003, which kind of made me happy because I was like, okay, finally Sean Penn first play a great villain. That's gonna be probably iconic, and second, he's gave it all up. If he gave his best, and that was really great to see. And Leonardo DiCaprio, as always, I loved his characters. I love the fact that he wasn't perfect. He was just a fucking loser trying to find his daughter back, and he was trying his best not to be dumb with other people, not to be a jerk. And I love the fact that he was kind of relatable in a way. Also loved. I think the story was pretty. It was straightforward. So it was easy to understand. It was for me, I think this film was mostly Leonardo DiCaprio and Paul Thomas Anderson just having fun because at the point of their career, they can do whatever they want. So that kind of didn't bother me. I think we love that part, and I think each shots in that film were unique, and the filmmaking aspect is going to be studied for years to come. This isn't something I can I can't credit them on because filmmaking wise, writing wise, performance wise, they did a great job. but I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece because it'd be hypothetical. Because I don't think it's a masterpiece. I think it's a really good film, and this is gonna be on my DVD shelf. But I don't think it's for me. I don't think if I'm gonna consider it a classic later, but I'll consider it a good one. Um, well, no, what I didn't like was I kind of wish the political aspect, even if it was actual, was a bit more subtle between Democrats and Republican. And I mean, I get it. He wanted to laugh at both parties, but I wish he was a bit more subtle, like Adam McKine kind of comedy where, I mean, you get it, but you don't need to put it under your face. So I was like, you can do better than that, Paul. Come on, man. So that aspect kind of bothered me. There were other aspects too, but I'm not gonna mention that on live. I'm gonna text it to you, but but there was other aspect that I think didn't think was necessary because it felt like quota wise just to please some people. But other than that, he was really good, and I wouldn't be shocked if DiCaprio would be nominated for an Oscar. So yeah, I wasn't disappointed. Um, I was expecting something else, but overall, it's a good one, and I'm really glad the film is working because we need more commercial, original blockbuster like this and less IP saga. So yeah, overall, that's my thoughts for now.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. So, I will say this: I don't align with that movie by any means, and I don't think you do as well. I think we are on the same page on that. We share a lot of belief, but I think the movie is still enjoyable nonetheless. Now, before I really get into my issues, I will share some of my side notes. Number one, again, I kind of said it in my opening statement, but I will reiterate. I strongly disagree with one of the message that the movie pushed that very much is left leaning. They like to say violence justified when you got right politics. I think it's disgusting. Number two, the reverse essay joke doesn't survive the gender swap. It just doesn't. Essay, you know the abbreviation. We won't say the full word because that will be blacklisted from YouTube. But yeah, there was a reverse essay joke at some point, and gender
Mm-hmm.
swap the people it doesn't pass. And again,
Yeah, yeah.
it's purely liberal. They only them can do that kind of joke without shame. Now, the third side note I got really bad timing of release. 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk death could incite the left to increase their political violence.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
again, I strongly disagree with a lot of things in that movie, and now I will get with my actual issues throughout that movie. So my first true issue that I will hold against the movie, the pacing. Movie had a lot of too slow moments. It could have got like 30 to 40 minutes. It's a freaking 2 hour and 50 minutes. And I strongly believe if they had a better pacing, 30 to 40 minute by act could have worked. Like 30 minutes spent with like before the kid is born and like 30 minutes of their new life and like 30 minutes of things going crazy. I I think in the third act the most memorable aspect that I feel like they could have cut is all of the car like chasing in the desert. It's like it's cool to see them like meeting and meeting and meeting, but I feel like they could have trimmed some of it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just detail like that throughout the entire movie. You're like, yeah, you could have cut like a good chunk of time, but they wanted to seem bigger than what they really delivered, and I think that really goes against the movie. Um, Now my second issue, editing could have been far better. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they cut scenes with other scenes, and it breaks the flow of what was going on. And the most memorable aspect to it is we get like this interrogation of these kids with the jokes and the lies of the girl not having a cell phone and such. And they got to Leonardo. And again, I feel like if they all placed the kid scenes all together in the same block, that could have been much better. And
Mm-hmm.
again, maybe they were trying to say, oh, it's all happening in the same time because some of other movies did that. But I feel like today in 2025, there are better ways to tell you it's at the same time. Like The perfect example I got is with a movie that came out last year, which was The Fall Guy. We had a moment where two things are happening at the same time. Guess what? They are showing a split screen, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe some people disagree with that, but I feel like split screen is far better than whatever this movie tried to do in that specific moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothered me because again, I think the kids, I was surprisingly shocked to enjoy the scenes they had because they're clearly like that far left group, and again,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't align with my
definitely.
they don't align with what I believe, and yet
Me too.
I was entertained by them. You know, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's cool, I like it. So again, to see them being caught through Leonardo and that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, editing there is not great. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my third issue, them talking and laughing in the hallway as the cops were coming at the shop, took away from urgency. I did it. So it was basically like by the end of the second act when they were like entering the store to then like go on the stairs, and we got like all of these people evacuated, and we just got like Leo and the other guy laughing and talking and taking their time in the alley. And do you remember what I mentioned? Like it's just before they go on the roof and he gets the sniper. Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel the urgency, you don't feel the emergency. They just walk and laugh and talk. It's like, man, you know they are coming. Why do you mess around like that? It just broke
Yeah.
my immersion. I don't know.
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I
I
felt.
didn't. I didn't mind it because I think maybe what Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to show it in this is that those characters doesn't take anything seriously. They don't feel the sense of urgency as much as the average people do, especially Bob, who's kind of the stupidest character of the story. I think this is that might be what he wanted to show it. And since it, Bob, Benicio del Toro was kind of the character who's always relaxed and chill about everything. So I don't know. Maybe that was what he was trying to show us. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. I think later in the movie they did that far better, like with the car scene with the cops, and they right after he left the hospital. I like that aspect, but again, that alleyway, it's like you really need to put your suspension of disbelief to action to think the cop would not like catch them trying to escape by the roof.
Mhm.
But again, I get what you're saying, and I think that was the purpose of that always scene. It still bothers me, but I get what you're saying, and I agree. I think that was the intent, and I think it was done better later in the movie.
Mhm.
Um, Far better, especially with the car scene.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my fourth issue, old car being able to catch up to modern car was so annoying. So it's like when everything was blowing up, like the father finds the car crash and then he turns back and then he sees two cars chasing after another and he's able to catch up to them.
Mhm.
It's like, do you think the viewer is stupid? It's like an
Yeah.
old car, man. I I hated that. I That was insulting. What did you think of that?
I loved it. I think it was a great chase car scene. I didn't mind it all the new car because I'm not a buff car guy. It reminded me a little bit of French Connection's iconic chase car and other great car scene like in Jack Reacher. And I think it was really well done. I didn't bother it because I think what they're saying now, and this is great because it doesn't happen often now, but this might be an iconic thing that we're having, and I felt it when I saw it. I was like, oh, we might having something iconic here. But it was very well made, especially the first person car point of view that he was sometime cutting in. There, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So my next issue, number five, feels stupid how easy it was for the mother to escape custody while considered being an important witness. So that was really early. That was like by the end of the first act when she just wanders out to Mexico. I was like, didn't she have like a security detail or something? But like they disappear. Like you don't know what happened to them, and she just suddenly leaves. I
Mm-hmm.
hated it so much, and it's like she was. persecuted. Like she was in trial. Well, she wasn't really in trial, but like she was considered to be like a key witness, not only a key witness, but that was a deal she made to dodge like 40 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's ridiculous how easy it was for her to just escape. I didn't
Yeah.
believe this crap. I hated it so much. And I was like, well, the movie will be like that for the entire time. Like, yes, it wasn't really that stupid, true, but still, I hated that moment a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think of that?
Um. Well, maybe I'm biased because I'm a filmmaker, but I don't know. I mean, look, honestly, sometimes you gotta if you apply logics to everything in films, it'll be boring. So I think sometimes you gotta make compromise. Maybe I guess that it bothered you, but the movie doesn't move forward if you don't broke the logic sometimes. And I think that's what he did. He knew he broke some logic things, but if you don't do that, then watch a documentary of 6 hours of real life with cops and those type of situation. You'll get realism, but you can't put realism always in films. Otherwise, they won't be films. Films are made for us to transport into other world where logic doesn't apply. There's limits, obviously, like Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious, but yeah, I mean, yeah,
And
uh,
interesting perspective.
yeah,
So my final issue
yeah,
feels stupid how easy they could track down DiCaprio, and why would a paranoid guy stay at the same place for 15 years? I feel like it's not consistent with this character. Like, he goes to the extent to tell his daughter don't have a cell phone, and she goes get a cell phone on her own because her dad won't give her. But he is so paranoid, and he told her about that magnet thing, and yet they still stay in the same place for 15 years. And a day after the bad guy in quote, or the antagonist, we should call them,
hmm
are capturing someone in the organization, the day after they find DiCaprio. It's just they they make everything slow, but they rush that part, and it also feels like off character for DiCaprio to just be that stupid, just remain there at the same place while you're paranoid, and you
hmm
are in an organization that's also paranoid.
hmm
um, it bothered me a lot. So these were my issues. I think overall, despite all of the negative, I had a lot of enjoyment. So let's
hmm
get to my few likes. The music was cool. The acting was rock solid. The movie was great at showing overtelling. I think that was one of the
yeah.
highlights,
Oh,
and one of the best thing about that movie is how competent they were at providing visual to what was going on. And it's
yeah, yeah.
really something you need to watch. Just listening to it, it's not enough. Like, we get a lot of these really bad Netflix movie. You don't need to watch it. You just need to listen it. It's not the case here. Uh, you don't watch, you miss out on a lot of things, and that's one of the highlights of the movie. Now, another
hmm
very good highlight: characters and villains were entertaining and enjoyable. Now, as a center right, because I don't think I'm far right. I'm not Catholic, and there's a few things on the far right I disagree with. But overall,
Yeah, me
like
too.
I consider myself like really center right, and I feel like the movie was good at from my point of view saying there's no good guy, no bad guy, because the protagonist, they do bad stuff. They shoot people. I mean, the mother ended up being arrested for 40 years because she shot someone, and she did that robbery and such. And
hmm
it's a bad thing, let's be honest about it. um, what else? Well, she point guns to so many people, so she's doing something wrong. And the antagonists also do something wrong because they bend the law as much as they can to achieve their goal. And they are racist because that's the point of that movie. Racists are the far left, the far right. I mean, and they are
hmm
the antagonists because they also do bad things. But the protagonists. They're not necessarily that good. They're also bad. So I like the idea
Yeah.
that both sides are kind of wrong.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like the movie promotes too much political violence. Now, the next thing to enjoy, the action was entertaining.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Yeah.
movie,
Very.
the movie itself, when it came to twist and turn, I sneezed there. That's why I caught my mic. Hopefully, I caught it at the right time. But yeah. So the plot and twist, I think they were well written. The turn made sense, and again, I had seen it coming. That the daughter would be a bastard child, and we would end up like, especially when it comes from the far left, they really want people to accept to raise someone else's child. That's something really, really how can I say it? It's frequent. It's frequent. It happens very often. The women are like, don't ignore, just ignore my past and just get along with it. Like, I have two kids, but they should be your kids as well. That's the kind of stuff the left really like to push. Um, so I'm not surprised of that plot twist. And now we lost the Sammy. Um, so my next um, my next thing to enjoy is, well, right now I'm texting him because something happened to him. Um, but yeah. So my next thing to enjoy, costume and set design. I think they built very nice sets, and the costume were really cool, and you could tell which character is which by how they dressed, and it's really good attention to detail. Now, my next like is the humor was great. The final, the final like I had, the way they addressed the politics was more or less okay. It could have been polished more, but it did its job. Again, Sam was like, yeah, he didn't like the way it was ham-fisted, if we can call it that way. I I think it was okay. It did its job. Is it perfect? I don't think so. Is it bad? I don't think so. That's why it's in my likes part. It's like I'm somewhere in between on that one. But again, I will reiterate what I said. Political violence is when you fail to speak out to the other side. Um, so yeah, that's exactly how I feel about that movie, and I think overall the movie is enjoyable.
Tu peux repeat. Tu peux répéter à partir de quand
We
tu parlais des scènes d'action.
Yeah, we are back, and
Ça, yeah.
Sam is back. So basically, what I was saying is the action was really cool, and I'd say the movie itself, when it came to twist and turn, it was well written. I had seen it coming, the plot twist at the end with the daughter being the bastard,
Mhm.
and it's also mainly because the left really wants you to accept a woman with her child if it's new relationship, that kind of stuff. So I think that's a very good way to convey that in a movie. They're like, yeah, we'll raise someone else's child because we want that more often, because they want to destroy the family unit and create it another way.
Mhm.
I think it's under a very political and societal aspect to it. Now, another thing I had said after, and we are near the end of my likes, costume and set design were enjoyable, the humor was great, and
Mhm.
the way they addressed the politics was more or less okay. It could have been better, could have been polished more, but I think it did its job. Is it the
Mhm.
best movie when it comes to politics? I don't think so. Is it the worst? I don't think so. And
No,
again,
no, no. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you on that.
and again, I will say this. I don't think it's that much of a big issue with this movie, uh, and I think it's just fine.
Hmm.
Again, I don't align with that movie. I think when you unleash the weapon, when you use violence, it's when you failed to get through with speech,
Hmm.
and this is when you lost the war in my books.
Hmm.
Um, and again, there are some cases in history that justify political violence. I think the French
Hmm.
Revolution is probably the only moment in history where I'm like, you know what? I
Hmm.
agree with that. With that being said, I will ask you, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Honestly, I think I said everything, but because it's just this is the kind of film that I'm gonna need to rewatch and rewatch and rewatch because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that maybe we have missed out. But as a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, he's one of my top 10 favorite director. I definitely, I definitely can't wait to see what he's gonna do next, and I'm definitely be down to see him with Leonardo DiCaprio again. And when I saw, have you seen? Have you ever seen any of the Paul Thomas Anderson film? You ever seen any of him or no?
I would need title of movies. I don't really know who's making them, but I remember titles. So if you have titles, I can help out. If you don't have the titles of the movies, I don't know.
Okay,
uh,
well, okay, I will send you. I'll send you. I did a ranking recently, and there's
okay,
all the titles of his films. I'll send you that. You can start with
perfect.
that. I suggest you start with. Um, start with Boogie Nights. I think for me that was the film that showed his strength as a director. And like I said, I think it's kind of normal for me that I wasn't as impressed as his other film because these guys like Christopher Nolan, Tarantino, he did hit after hit, successful wise but not money wise. But still, like most of his films have been acclaimed by international people, international praise, and he's such a great author that has so much things to express. And even in that film it showed he still has a passion for characters that are broken and try to be better and aren't perfect. That's his signature. Usually, he always has character like this. And I was about to say something else. Have you ever seen the movies of Philip Seymour Hoffman? He was a great actor. He died like years ago.
I also struggle with name of actors. Like
Okay.
I know by name some actors, like Leo
Okay.
DiCaprio, like everyone knows him, like Tom Cruise. Like I know big names, and
Okay.
lucky enough, I know more women than men.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That's the weird part.
I mean, Sydney
Gerard
Sweeney,
take
right?
uh
So yeah, but this actor, if he was alive today, he used to work with Paul Thomas a lot. Like most of his film, he was in it. And sorry, I cut you off. Were you about to say something?
not really. Just go on, man. I'm
Okay.
fine.
I think had he been alive today, I think he could have gone. He could have been a great antagonist, or either him or I guess Daniel Day Lewis could have been a great Stephen Lockjaw, but I think Sean Penn was great too, and I'll be so down to see like a film just centered about his character because he was so interesting and he was so great. I think I liked
Daddy-O.
him
Watch
better.
watch watch Daddy-O. Have you seen Daddy-O?
No, no,
That's
no.
that's very recent. That came out like I think last year or the year prior. Daddy-O. I will text it to you after.
Okay.
But it's Sing Pen and I think that was Dakota Johnson as
Oh
well.
yeah,
They're
I heard
basically
it's
riding
pretty
in a
good.
taxi. Yeah,
I heard it's pretty good. Is
it
it?
is. Usually I'm not that driven toward like big personal drama like that, but that one resonate with me a lot.
Okay,
Um,
I'll try to find it. Is it on any platform or DVD or something?
I'm illegal. I go to the ICs. I'm a pirate.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm not that kind of person.
But I will be honest, I'm like that because like there's no platform with everything, and I hate to pay. Like there's so much fees and so much of
Yeah,
like
it's fucking
paying
bullshit.
everything everywhere. Like why should I pay like five different subscription monthly? Like it's ridiculous.
It make no
Uh,
fucking sense, man.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so like I said, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. I can't wait to see what Leo is gonna do next. I don't know if you've noticed or if you followed Leo's career, but he's my favorite actors, and ever since ever since Don't Look Up, I think that I feel like he's trying to take weirder parts and non-conventional part that he used to do, but I don't know if it's gonna be all at his advantage because yeah, it's interesting, but like in Killer of the Flower Moon, he played a character similar that was dumb and stupid, and now he's also playing a dumb and stupid guy. So I'm wondering, is he gonna keep doing that, or is he gonna go back
Yeah,
to
that's the chicks with Hollywood. To be honest, I think now he's been typecasted as that because he's an old white man, and they ate old white men. So
But did you
that's
like Killer of the Flower Moon? I thought he was great in it.
I thought that was okay, but that was another case. That movie went on for way too long. But
I love Scorsese. He's my
I
favorite director.
I think between one battle after another and Flower of the Killer Moon, I think Flower of the Killer Moon is a better movie in itself.
Yeah, it was
But
great. I loved it.
but I was more entertained by one battle after another. But again, I think Flower is a better movie,
You,
far superior actually.
I hated Bob De Niro in that movie so much. I wanted to kill him. But in I think he gave his best performances since like Raging Bulls. But I'm kind of pissed that Criterion can't convince Apple to produce a DVD because I want to own them, and I fucking hate Apple for this. At least F1 is gonna be on DVD. Did you did a podcast for F1?
Not really. I think I will do a recording eventually when I get to see it. I didn't see it yet.
Okay, once you do,
It's
let me know. I fucking loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we will talk about it. So we will close off one battle after another the review right now by
Okay.
giving away our grade, and then we will get a look to Rotten Tomato because I do that now. I take a look and I see what other people have to say and I react to this, and that will take like 2-3 minutes. It's not that long. Like can spend lots of time, but we don't. We just take a look what they have to say. Do we agree? But yeah, what would be your grade out of 10 for one battle after another?
Honestly, if it wasn't for the political side that, like I told you, I don't think it was that subtle, and if it wasn't for like the masculine little character that kind of bothered me a bit, I didn't think it was necessary. And the friend of Chasing Infinity, and had it wasn't for that, I would have given an 8.5. But just for those aspects, and also because Paul Thomas Anderson always put complex stories that push further into reflection. Had all those things would been better executed and not being put on screen, I would have gave 8.5, 8.8, but I'm gonna give it an 8 because his filmmaking aspect is intact, Leo is intact, Sean Penn is intact, and the story itself doesn't take itself too seriously. But overall, yeah, it's his least greatest film since he started making films, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just mean that after so many masterpiece, I get that you can always be at top. I just hope next time I will go out to the theater and be like, oh fuck, that was as great as There Will Be Blood. So yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. There will be blood with something. My
But
grade,
that was Paul Thomas Anderson.
yeah, my grade is a 7.5.
That's
But
fair.
again, I strongly disagree with any of the messaging. And if I was really putting my politics before anything else, the way a lot of critics out there do, that movie would dip a lot. Because again,
Yeah.
I strongly disagree with most of the messaging behind the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think overall the movie I enjoyed it, but I need to turn off my brain about politics. I
Me
need
too.
to see that movie as a movie on its own, and I need to not really think about politics because again, if I place politics in my review, that movie take a dump. Like it's a 3 or a 4 because I strongly disagree and there's so much wrong with what the movie tried to convey. But again, I enjoyed it and I put my politics aside when I review stuff, and we end up with a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's well deserved. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I liked
Mm-hmm.
it. It's a bit too long, but hey, it happens. And now this the final segment of that stream. That will be short, as I said. We will react to some of the comments on Rotten Tomato. I'm always curious to hear about others and to read the room, as one can call it. So let's get into it. Let's. Oh well, I don't know how to. Okay, there we go. I suck with that.
It's okay,
So
bro.
let's click it down one battle after another. There we go. So usually what I take is the first four comments of
Hmm.
both the critics and the audience. I think the audience is more credible than the critics. I think the
Definitely.
critics are all freaking sellouts. So the first critic is the first half hour or so of one battle is as hot as a pistol buzzing with frenetic energy while clearly establishing the main characters, their conflict, and their motivation. It's friend sized, but it's grounded with the story stakes clearly set. Any thoughts on that?
Um, I think this is. I don't know if you would agree. I think this is closest. This is the closest review that kind of is similar to mine, because he. I think he has a good point. It is true that the first half, I mean, introduced the characters so much well and established this so much well. And I don't wait a minute.
Yeah.
I,
So I
I
agree
think
with
it,
you.
I think I agree with him. Yeah.
I also agree with him. Again, I had issues with the runtime because I think the movie was really good at placing up the story pieces. Uh, and yeah, so the next comment from the critics, the whole movie is amazing. I strongly disagree, but hey,
Me too. I wish he
I,
would elaborate more, but okay.
yeah, and that's the top critic there.
Yeah, I
That's why
mean,
I'm saying, like, sometimes I cannot take that seriously. I'm like
I
that.
definitely bribe or something.
And maybe if I was a left leaning person, I would like it more. I don't know.
I guess I don't know.
Let's read the last two of the top critics and then let's read out what the audience had to say. So, you're getting the best of both PTAs, one battle after another, as all the filmmaking mastery of Paul Thomas Anderson late career style, but is accessible and entertaining as his earlier work, more so really.
It's exactly what I said there, like a few minutes ago. That's exactly my point.
I agree, and I will say There Will Be Blood was a far superior, a far better movie overall,
Definitely.
but I was more entertained by one battle after another. I won't lie on that. Like, I think There Will Be
Because
Blood is a better movie, but it's not as entertaining.
yeah, but because Paul Thomas Anderson, most of his films, beside Boogie Nights, who has an energy, kinetic energy rhythm similar to this one, most of his film, and oh yeah, Punch Drunk Love too. Most of his films are some of his films are slow burn film, and The Ruby Blood is a slow burn. It take its time. It's like you're reading a book. It has chapter. It has slow pacing. Slow arc. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's an auteur film. It's a film you watch on winter with your girlfriend or alone with your cat while it's really freezing outside. One battle after another, you watch that on the summer with your friend. You know, so you're
yeah.
talking. It's two different tone, but two great film too. What this guy's gonna be saying? It's your. Can
So
you
the
read it?
next one, Rich Klein. It's a roller coaster trailer propelling with intent through a spiraling story that's impossible to predict. Well, I disagree. I predicted the twist at the end, but you didn't, so maybe I'm wrong and I'm crazy. So watching the film is exhilarating, keeping us entertained with edgy comedy and a griping sense of urgency. Again, I disagree with that. Any thoughts on that comment?
I think I think this guy is working for the Clinton party.
Probably, probably. So let's get into the audience for reviews to make it even. Excellent acting from Sin Pen and Leo DiCaprio. I agree with that.
100%.
Yeah, that person gave a five star, which is great.
I like
Uh,
if Sean Penn won an Oscar, I wouldn't be shocked because he was fucking great,
I
and
agree.
Leo too.
I agree. It's too artsy though, and it's not feminist enough. But actually, it's very left leaning, so I don't know. Because it's left leaning, maybe they'll give lots of prices to say more to tell people make more movies like that.
Well, I know Warner Bros. Is gonna campaign this film, Sinner and Weapon, for the award ceremony.
I
So
I think Sinner and Weapons are so far better than that.
honestly, you know what? I wasn't impressed with Weapon. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great because, like most horror films nowadays, the third act is always destroying the whole concept. But Josh Brolin and Julia Garner, I love them. I love the idea, but I didn't think the execution was great. I don't think. I think the director take itself too seriously, and Sinners, though, yeah, it's a masterpiece. It's a great film. Okay, it's African American propaganda, but it's great. I think we're having a new Spike Lee on our hand with Ryan Coogler. And when I saw this film, I was like, finally, you're getting out of the fucking MCU box. And he needs to get out of Marvel as quick as possible because we're having a genius on our hand. I don't agree with all he's saying about white appropriation, but the way he's done it is more subtle and way better than most black directors done it when they say to your face, the white man is evil. We hate the white man. He does it in a subtle way where both parties can understand. Just like Spike Lee. He's the greatest African American director since Spike Lee. I don't think I've seen anybody who understand the culture and the contrast society between black and white as much as he does. But then again, I don't know if people are gonna agree with me because I'm not saying black director are bad. They're good. But nobody has impacted me black
As
director
much
as much
as
as
it,
he did. Well,
yeah.
as much as he and Spike Lee did, you
Yeah.
know?
And we mentioned weapons. I plan on making a video with weapons and other art flake from this year that will all be combined in one video. So I will give you a link eventually. So we will talk about weapons. I'm excited
Yeah.
about that.
Sure,
Uh,
sure, yeah.
Next review from a user, Malachi P. Toothless satire with jangling key action for the smartphone addict in the audience and pandering political reference. PTA's worst and the most disappointing movie of the year with
I think
1.5 stars.
yo, if he has seen Licorice Pizza, I would have agreed, but because it was
I
fucking boring, but I don't agree with that. I think he's
I
stretching it.
I think Malachi is the right leaning person that's offended.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
probably.
only explanation I got because let's be honest, we were both not a fan of the politics, but we liked it.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think
yeah,
consensus is that movie is very much liked. So I think it's just some offended right wing person there.
yeah.
Next up, action fact: the nudity didn't like much. Nudity?
What?
Uh,
I don't.
what? What?
There wasn't that much nudity.
I don't remember nudity.
Honestly, what the fuck is guys talking
Oh
about?
yeah, right. When they were sleeping, like you're in the first act. Yeah, you're right. Actually, the first act had lots of nudity, but like the rest of the movie didn't have
Yeah,
any.
yeah, but I don't think it was that long.
I agree with that. Like it's not that long. And okay, 5 stars apparently. Next comment. Movie was phenomenal. However, the theater antiquity at the location I attended was very poor. And I actually agree with that. Mine was also kind of not great. The sound was not great, but I think that was the theater thing. Uh,
No, I saw it in IMAX on Wednesday, so I was lucky.
yeah. People playing TikTok on their phone having conversation.
Theater needs
Wow!
to forbid cell phone.
Wow! I actually agree with that. So that was one battle after another. Uh,
Always great talking to you. Huh?
Yeah, thank you very much for joining. Now, do you have anything going on your end of the internet? So, any blog, any page where you talk about movies or any videos or anything?
I have an Instagram page called Cinefilali. If anybody wants to go, I post about reviews, I post about opinions on films, and I post about also sometimes just photos of great actors and great scenes. So if anybody wants to follow my page, Cinefilali, if you can't find it, I can give you my Instagram. It's the Seven Artist, so you
Yeah,
can follow me there.
send it to me. I will add it to the description so people can find it.
Okay, yeah, sure,
Anything
sure.
else you'd like to share?
No, actually, I can't wait for the next podcast. Maybe I'll be there
Yes.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see.
So tomorrow, speaking of tomorrow, we talk about MCU. Tomorrow we do two full review and we have a short discussion on two MCU movie. One I thought was okay, the other was awful. Wakanda Forever was terrible. But the big review will be Ant-Man 3 and Thor 4. Wednesday I talk about Dexter with the Dragon, and Dexter is quite fun, but the later season sucked. That's what we are talking about. And Saturday, we get political again, talking about question period in Canadian politics. That's hilarious to see gaslighting and lies. With that being said, next Monday, Smashing Machine, same time.
Okay,
And if Sam you're available, you will get the invite for Smashing Machine. So next Monday, same time. And that's it for now. And we are out. Thank you very much, Sam. We
take
will
care,
talk
man.
back